and giving each other good work. And we've seen that with you and Shawn Porter. So tell me about that work that you've gotten in with Shawn Porter and tell me why.
I know for sure after that sparring session, Shawn know that, I can hold my own. He know that, I'm one of them top guys, I say.
Wow. Those are the words of Gervonta Tank Davis as he was on Brian Custer, and he mentioned the sparring session between himself and Shawn Porter's. And this is another edition of Sparring Wars. That's right, Sparring Wars. Some of the things that just can't be held in the gym alone. It gets out every so often, especially when the opposition is high and is in demand. Okay, we've heard of guys like Luis Ortiz sparring with Lennox Lewis, Dillian White knocking out Tyson Fury, Vladimir Klitschko knocking out Deontay Wilder and proper twitching. Now we have another example of Shawn Porter and Gervonta Tank Davis. Listen, Gervonta Tank Davis, in so many words, did come out and say, you know what, I gave him that business. I gave Shawn Porter the business. And he knows by going round after round after round with me in sparring, he knows, in fact, I am the real deal. And I'm, on top of that, one of the top dudes. And he left it at that. Listen, certain ways you say things. Certain ways you describe things without really describing them, but you want people to know a certain way, the way you say it. The English language is very convincing, very manipulative. And a lot of things you can say in certain ways in the English language, okay, lets you know the tone, the way it's said, certain words you let linger, right? And Gervonta Tank Davis is no exception. He said that he, in fact, gave Shawn Porter the business. Now, do I believe that? You know what? I do. I think about Shawn Porter's style and I think about Gervonta Tank Davis' style. Gervonta Tank Davis is a counterpuncher by trade. He's an aggressive counterpuncher, a very explosive counterpuncher. And it makes me realize if you look at what he's already done to welterweights, such as Ivan Redcash. You guys remember that when he gave Redcash the business and somebody filmed it and it went viral on the internet, right? The internet undefeated. That's what happened, right? I could see him doing that because Shawn Porter comes forward. Shawn Porter's overly aggressive. And Shawn Porter fighting a guy that's explosive, that is a counterpuncher, that is quick and fast and nimble like Gervonta Tank Davis, that he'll have all the opportunity he needs from Shawn Porter. Think of Shawn Porter trying to get in there and rough up Gervonta Tank Davis and catching one of those solid uppercuts, counter from the back foot. Think about it. Bop! All day. Bop, bop, bop! I could see it. And, and I'm thinking, and the first time I heard this, I'm like, well, hell, he did that to Redcash, and it's even that more impressive. Anytime you mention, hey, man, yeah, he knows how I am because we've sparred before, so he knows what I can do. It's almost like when Paul Walker said to Vance, in Fast and the Furious, the original, he said, he knows I can box, meaning he's been in there with me because, of course, Brian and Vance, they got in a fight over Dominic Toretto's sister, giving you guys some useless trivia back in the day, right? So that's exactly what Gervonta Tank Davis was doing. He was saying, hey, he knows I can box because he's been in there with me, right? And he's referencing Shawn Porter. Shawn Porter's been in there with the best of them. He's been in there with Manny Pacquiao. We heard about that. But, Shawn Porter didn't really discuss too much about that particular sparring session. You know what I mean? Despite what people saw, despite what people let leak, he didn't really say anything. But Gervonta Tank Davis is a different animal, okay? And the sparring war between these two guys, I don't know how many rounds they went. But I know and I feel that Gervonta Tank Davis, with the speed and the power and the explosiveness that he has, you don't have to just be stupidly powerful to compete at certain levels. Look at Manny Pacquiao, same height as Gervonta Tank Davis. maybe like a half an inch taller, maybe like 5 and 5.5. Gervonta Tank Davis is like 5'5". Okay, so Shawn Porter's what, 5'8". You know what I mean? So like these guys are short guys. Okay, these guys aren't tall at all. So, but big things come in little packages, people. Okay, so don't get it twisted. These guys can bang. And since he did say that and he let that come out of his mouth, he wanted people to know that for a particular reason. He wanted people to know that he can compete at welterweight, he can compete at light welterweight, and he can compete at any weight that he makes weight on. That's what he's saying. And someone like Shawn Porter is up for the WBO welterweight opportunity to fight Terrence Crawford. That's a big name to be saying right now. But I'll say this. It's also sad. I just dropped a video about this, but this is something that I have to address, okay? It shows you how sad it is to hold a fighter's potential back. Sparring wars is great, but how about an actual official fight with one of the top guys like Shawn Porter, like Terrence Crawford, like the others, Teofimo, Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney? How about fights with these guys? See, what we're hearing, though, because I have to address this. It sounds great. It is good. But here's the deal. I see what's going on. I see, I'm getting my bragging rights off talking about sparring a guy instead of actually making a fight with the guy. See, if I'm Gervonta Tank Davis, I should be thinking like this. Well, you seen me and you seen what I can do, and I'm telling you what I can do to Shawn Porter. Shawn Porter's damn near got all the smoke. He's been in there with Errol Spence. He's been in there with Keith Thurman. He's been in there with Danny Garcia. He's going to be in there with Terrence Crawford. So he's done everything he needs to do to prove that himself, or not prove that he's good or not good. Gervonta Tank Davis has yet to have that opportunity. All we can do about is squabble and talk about sparring. Okay, it's very, very limited, and the reason why it's limited is because they're only allowing this man to do so much. You already know he's a live dog, Floyd Mayweather, and Leonard Ellerbe. So let this man be exactly what he is, a live dog. Let him off the leash and get him the fights that he needs to actually become great. But anyway, that's my counterpunch on Gervonta Tank Davis and Shawn Porter's sparring wars. You guys tell me what you think. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.